Vince Stanzione here, and in this video we're going to be going through Deriv X with TradingView charts, and we're going to be concentrating on stock indices. Now Deriv is probably best known for things like synthetic indices like crash and boom, which are very popular, but some may not be aware you can obviously trade other markets including foreign exchange, commodities and stock indices. Now I've made quite a few videos which you can find here on YouTube on the Deriv channel, but this one here, as I said, I'm just going to concentrate on the major stock indices. Now before we get started, the usual disclaimer is anything that I show in this video is not financial advice. I'm actually using a demo account, so whenever I say buy or sell, this is just purely we're on a demo account, and everything that I do here you can try it out for free. I'm going to show you a couple of website tools that I use, and again I'm only using a free account, so you don't need to subscribe to anything. With Deriv you can open a free demo account and you can access Deriv X and TradingView charts, which is what I'm using now, without sort of paying anything. And then once obviously you're ready, you can start an account with as little as $5 and start trading for real. All right, let's get started. First thing, let's remember what a stock index is. And as I say, I've just gone into the app.deriv and I've gone to Deriv X, and this is all customizable. For me personally, I just like to have one chart open at a time, but you can have as many charts as you like. And we haven't downloaded anything. This is just web-based. I'm actually using the Brave browser, but you can use Chrome, you can use Internet Explorer. Now the advantage of doing that, one, you obviously don't need to download anything, and this works pretty quick as well. I can obviously go between websites. So for instance, this is a site called Finviz, which I'll show you how I use that in a second. This is a site called Bar Chart, which is another site that I use some of the tools, and then back to Deriv X. So these sites here, like Bar Chart and Finviz, we don't trade off those. We use those to help us find opportunities. And then you can come back to Deriv X, which is obviously powered by Deriv. So that's your broker, and your money is going to be in with Deriv, and that's where you actually make the actual trades. All right, so the popular stock indices, they might be called something slightly different because there's some copyright issues, but US Tech 100 is the NASDAQ 100, Wall Street 30 is the Dow Jones, S&P, US SP 500 is S&P 500. And these indices nowadays, they pretty much trade near enough 24 hours a day, from sort of Sunday night, GMT, all the way to sort of Friday night, but they're pretty much 24 hours a day. So even when sort of the official sort of stock market isn't open, the futures will be trading. And in fact, I'm recording this at the moment and the official sort of US markets are not open, but you can see the futures are already trading, and we can already see it's quite a down day at the moment. And that's the other thing as well. Remember, as a good trader, we can make money in all markets, whether they're going up or down. So, you know, there's nothing wrong with obviously trading short. And the nice thing about Deriv, you've got two-way prices. Yeah, you can go long or short any market. So, for instance, with the US Tech, which I've got here, if I want to sell the US Tech, obviously, if I think the market's going to carry on going down, then obviously I can click short, and you'll see the ticket opens up. And I can obviously already put the stop, the take loss. So I don't need to buy first. Yeah, you know, most people are still conditioned that they have to buy the market, where in this case, you can obviously go short first and sell the market. And then obviously you will need to buy back at some stage because you'll need to cover the trade. Yeah, so, but you can go short and you can go long just as easily. Yeah, there's no difference on this platform. Now, with the stock index, let's go to this site here, which is Finviz, and we'll use the QQQ, which is the ETF of the 100 of the NASDAQ 100. And if you scroll down here, obviously you've got lots of information about. If you can see the top 10 holdings in the QQQ or the NASDAQ 100, they're obviously tech stocks. So you've got Apple, Microsoft, Nvidia, and these are the weightings. So Apple's the most important stock there because it's got 9% weighting. If these stocks are going down, what do you think is going to happen to the index? The index is going to be down, yeah, because the index is a basket of the stocks, and obviously these are weighted. This is a weighted index, so these here carry more weight. If you look at the top three, sort of almost like they're in 30% carry the weighting, and that's the same with any index. So say for instance, if we go to the S&P 500, which is the SPY. And again, I'm just using Finviz for this. There are other sites you can use to get this data, but I like Finviz. I've used it for a lot. And as I say, I'm just on a free account. You can actually sign up for a free account. You get a few more features, but I've just gone into this. Now, again, obviously, Apple is big in the S&P 500 as well, and then you can see the stocks that are in the S&P 500. So this will help to give you some sort of details. It'll also, you see what Finviz does, it will draw the trend lines in for you. I didn't draw these, obviously multiple top. And I'm just using, as I say, these are daily candles here. Then we can go back to Deriv X, which is here. And then, of course, we can use 1 minute charts. We can go down, we can change very easily. We can add indicators. We can save layouts as well. So you don't have to keep having to do this each time. So say, for instance, I want to add a moving average. It's easy enough to add on here. You got 2 moving averages. So you've got all your indicators. And if you're not sure what some of these indicators are, because they've actually got a lot in Deriv X and TradingView, you can search, because these indicators, they're not proprietary to TradingView or Deriv. So, for instance, you don't know what a stochastic RSI, relative strength index, is, or super trend is. If you search, you can basically find out. But what I say with all indices, don't go too crazy. I've seen people, they add so many indices on their charts that they get so confused. And as I say, what I want to do in this one, I'm not actually showing you buy or sell recommendations. I have done some ebooks with some systems in there. I just want to show you the platform and show you how you can obviously go between a website and Deriv X. And we'll carry on going through looking at TradingView with Deriv. And as I say, everything that I do on here, you can do with a demo account. And I'll look at some of those websites as well that I showed you. So I'm concentrating on stock indices just for this video, but of course we could be trading, there's nothing to stop us trading derived indices and a stock index at the same time. And in fact, if you go down to here, account manager, you can see your positions that are open. So right now, for instance, look, I've got a tech 100, I've got a crash 500, volatility, so I'm not just having to open stock indices or forex. We can mix and match the trades. And if we want to close that down, we can just close that down here. Here, if we click on positions, we can see the profit and loss of each position. And then also with workspaces, for instance, we can have, so you see like in here in TradingView, I had the 1 minute chart open. And then on the workspace, I had the longer view. I had the daily. So I can get a longer sort of view. So for instance here, what's been going on with the NASDAQ 100, it was bouncing between this sort of like a range. And if remember, like support basically is where we normally find buyers, resistance is where we find sellers. In this case, the support basically give way, and that actually made a very good short trade. In fact, the trade right now, the signal in fact is still short. Now the top here, we can see balance on the account. So it's just demo account. Equity is the P&L, the profit, the running profit and loss, plus the balance added together. So that's where the 21. How much margin I've used, because remember, when we're trading with Deriv, we're using contracts for differences. We don't have to put the whole amount of money up. Say for instance, you've got $1,000, you can maybe get up to 100 to 1 leverage depending on where you live. But what you've got to realize, it's a two-way sword. Leverage is great because it obviously amplifies your gains, but it also amplifies your losses. So be careful with leverage. And as I say, start off with lower amounts of leverage, and then as you get more confident, you can build that up. Because everything goes faster with leverage, both in a good way and a bad way. But that's my little bit of warning on there. Let me just go back to TradingView. Now, I've sort of kept it just, and you remember what I said about you can go between stock indices, derived, cryptos, so I'm just sort of concentrating. But, obviously there's thousands literally of markets and stocks you can trade from here. But as I say, for this video, I'm just keeping it on there. If you find that this is annoying, this finder, just click on here and it will go away. So you've got more sort of chart space. And to bring it back, just do that. This one here tells you what the current candle is doing. And in fact, if you go onto the bar chart tool, which is here, so which is just the Windows page, you'll find other sort of features. And again, this is just a free account. So for instance, like seasonal returns, if I want to see, and I'm filming this in April, that's why it only goes up to April 25, what historically, now seasonality is a guide, it's not a guarantee, but let's say for instance, there's certain months of the year where the stock or the particular index might be stronger or weaker. And this is actually available free. Some of these tools you will need to pay for. It's about $10 a month, so it's not a huge amount of money. But I say this is just a free account that I'm using here. The bar chart opinion, what this does, and I say I wouldn't buy and sell straight off this. It goes through the various indicators, like the 20-day moving average, right? So if the price is below the 20-day moving average, if it's yes, which it is at the moment, it will say sell, and so on and so on. And then it puts together like a reading. And I say, it gives you sort of an indication that if you're thinking of going long and this thing's on 100% sell, then you might have got the wrong end of the stick. Also things like support and resistances. In the old days, we used to have to work all this by hand, and if you click on see more, you get something called a trader's cheat sheet, and it really goes into depth. So these sort of tools can help you when you're building a trading system. Now remember, so far I've only been showing sort of manual trading, but on things like CTrader and MT5, which are both available from Deriv, you can also sort of program systems in. But to start with, you want to sort of put your system together manually. So let's say your system is sell on the third down candle, buy it back on the fourth up candle. I'm just making this up as I go along. You still want to sort of test that and trade that sort of manually, but at some point you will be able to put that into a trading system, so you don't have to keep watching it. So that's, here we are, we're back on here. Let's close that one here. And then this one here, if you've added lots of indicators, right now I've got no indicators, you can just go onto the show object tree and you can delete the indicators. So let's say, for instance, we've put moving averages and various other things. We can get rid of those from here. But as I say, most of the time I like to keep it nice and sort of clean, keep a screen sort of, literally just as the candles. Now if you like other types of charts, I particularly just go with the classic sort of candles, but all this is customizable, and you can change that to different sort of candles. So that is pretty much it. As I say, what I would do is start with a demo account, and sort of you can get the idea from there. Obviously watch the margin levels, but as I say, start with a demo account and you get an idea. Margin is a good thing, or leverage, but you just got to know how to control it. And then there's no reason why you can just trade stock indices. You can trade a variety of markets, but as I say, for this video I've just been showing you the main stock indices. And you can have obviously multiple charts open as well. I've just been concentrating on the one, but you can literally pretty much knock yourself out and have as many as you like, and you can have different time frames. So maybe I've got the 1 minute, the 1 hour, but as I say, I still particularly like to keep it fairly sort of simple on the charts. And you can set up your own watch lists, so you don't have to all this can be saved, import, export. So when as you build up, it's almost like a personality. It's what you like might be different to what I like. Things like, for instance, trendy list, seeing what things are trending, and or you can have biggest movers, biggest gainers. So say for instance we click on the change, we can see all the big ones that have gone down the most. I think if we could change again, we see what's what's moving, because some people will like momentum indicators. They want to get on things that are moving. So if you spot something like, for instance, the silver RSI index, and that's up this sort of, so you could click on this, for instance, and help to find opportunities. So you would just go through and look for sort of like momentum, what's moving. Okay, so with that, as I say, make sure you check out some of my other videos as well on Deriv. If you haven't already, say get a demo account, and also look out for some of the ebooks. I've still got a couple of new ones coming out as well. I've got ones on commodities, chart trading, and they're all available free of charge from Deriv. Thanks for watching.